ArcGIS Online is a free web mapping tool. It offers a variety of base maps to which you can add other data layers. You can bring in data from the ArcGIS service, from other web locations, or you can upload your own data. You'll need to create a free account to use this tool. To do this, go to www.arcgis.com and click the Sign In button on the top right-hand part of the window. On the Sign In page, find the button all the way on the bottom to the left of the screen that says Create a Personal Account. On the next page, proceed to fill in your name and other information to create your new account. If you wish, you can then edit your profile to upload a profile picture, indicate whether it's a public or a private account, and add any other information you would like associated with your account. Now that you've got an account set up, you can start creating some maps. Before you do this, however, you may want to take a look at the gallery and see what other maps are already out there so you can get an idea of what's possible to create. Go ahead and click on the Gallery tab at the top of the page. From here, you can browse and search for maps created by other users. Let's say you wanted to find maps about energy. On the top right, there is a search box. So I'm going to go ahead and type in energy. And I can see a variety of maps that others have created across the country, from solar energy potential, to wind task force data, to a renewable energy atlas of Vermont. If I click on this Renewable Energy Atlas of Alaska, I'll come to a summary page that gives me a description of what the map is about, and the different data layers that are contained in the map. To open it, I simply click the Open button, and then open in ArcGIS.com viewer. I can navigate around in the map by clicking and dragging within the map pane, and I can zoom in and out using the slider in the top left-hand corner of the map. I can click on any of the features in the map to find out more information about them. To the left of the map is a Details pane. I can toggle this on and off by clicking the Details button just above it. There are 3 different things I can show in this Details pane. The first option is just a general description of the map, similar to what you saw in the summary page. Clicking the second button shows the layers that are currently in the map. This is the place where numerous adjustments and changes can be made to the layers. The third option shows you a legend for all the features that are active in your map. Now that you have an idea of what the interface looks like, you can go ahead and create your own map. First, find the link that says My Content in the top right corner of your screen above the map. This will take you to all the files, maps, and applications that you've created. Of course, right now it will still be empty. When you click the Create Map button, a new viewer will open up. Use your navigation tools to zoom into your area of interest. You may wish to change your base map. The default base map is a topographical map, but if you click on this base map button, you can see there's lots of different options. There's a couple of different options for imagery from different sources, some which have labels and some which don't. There's also street maps, terrain, oceans, and a base map from National Geographic. I'm going to choose the Oceans base map. Next, I'm going to add some data to my map. There are a couple of places from which I can find data. One option is to search for already existing layers. ArcGIS Online, for instance, has quite a bit of data on its server that you can add to your map. I'm going to search for Maine boat launches and bring it into my map by clicking Add next to the appropriate layer in the results box. I can also upload data from my own computer. This is the Add Layer from File option under the Add menu. There are a variety of file types that you can add. You can add data from a text file, from a GPS data file, from a KML file, or from a zipped shapefile. I'm going to upload a zipped shapefile. To do this, I'll click the Browse button, navigate to the folder in which it's stored and select the file, and click the Open button. I can then import the layer. The map will automatically zoom to the layer's extent, and the panel on the left will switch to the Map Contents view. If I hover my cursor just to the right of the layer, a small arrow will appear, and I can click on this arrow to bring up a menu that gives me various options of things I can do with this layer. The first thing I'm going to do is change the symbology. I have the option to base my symbols on different categories of information, for instance range of numbers, or to have each feature in the layer have its own unique symbol. But for now, with this layer, I'm going to leave it as a single symbol. So I simply click the Change Symbol button, and I can choose from pre-existing symbols, and then edit the color, pattern, transparency, and width as desired. I'm going to choose a dashed line of a dark blue, and I'm going to make it somewhat transparent. And I think I'll make it a little wider than the default. When I'm happy with my symbol, I can click the Done button. I'll then X out of the Change Symbols dialog box. I also have the ability to configure a pop-up box. Right now, when I click on this layer, a pop-up appears that gives the default information that was collected by the application that I used to track this route. However, most of the information that's in here I don't actually want to display, while there's other information that I might want to display, such as a photograph. To configure the pop-up, I go back to the menu for this layer and choose the Configure Pop-up option. For the title, I can either click this plus sign to the right of the text box and choose an already existing field for the title, or I can type in a specific title for this feature. Under Pop-up Contents, I have a number of options. I can list all of the attributes that are currently existing, which is the default. I can choose just one field to show up. I can customize my attribute display, or I can have no information show up whatsoever. I'm going to do a custom attribute display. Once I've chosen this option from the drop-down menu, I'll click the Configure button to type in what I want to show up in my pop-up. Once again, I have the option to either type text in directly, or if I wish, I can add specific fields from this layer by clicking the plus button all the way to the right of the tools, and then clicking on the appropriate attribute that I want to show up in my pop-up. I also have the ability to change the formatting of my text. For instance, if I wanted to make it a different color, and I can insert links into my text. Once I'm satisfied with the text that will appear in my pop-up, I'll click the OK button. I can also add photos or charts and graphs to my pop-up. This is done separately with the Add button under Pop-up Media. I'm going to add an image. I don't want a title or caption, so I'm going to leave these fields blank. In order to insert an image into my pop-up, it must be located somewhere on the web. So if you have an image on your computer, you'll need to upload it to a photo hosting site, such as Flickr, before you can add it to your map. When you add the image address in the URL box, you're pasting in the location of where this image is stored on the web, so be sure it starts with HTTP and ends with a photo file type, such as JPEG, TIFF, or PNG. If you wanted to link the photo itself to an entirely new web address, you would put that address in this link box at the bottom. I'm going to leave it blank, as I don't want my image to be a link. Now that I've configured all of my pop-up properties, I will click the Save Pop-up button, and when I click on the feature in the map, the pop-up now displays the text and images that I entered in. When I click on the link, it brings me to the external web address that I entered in. I've now completed my first map.